This is the all-new Community Connection. I'm your host, Jade, Harrell, keeping you connected to our community. Well, who wouldn't want an opportunity to play with the pros, to actually be on the green with the legends? It's the 47th annual Ted Rhodes Beat the Pro Golf Challenge. I am joined today by co-chairs Chuck Jackson of Fox Sports and Andy Spann, co-founder of Mount Carmel Communities, a benefit to raise money for rising stars. So let's talk about the idea. Where did the idea for this golf tournament originate?
Well, Ted Rhodes is a long ago, very prominent minority golfer who actually was one of the first golfers to try and break the color barrier back in the 50s. And he played a lot of golf here in St. Louis, interestingly, at Forest Park. And his daughter, Peggy, has been running the Ted Rhodes Foundation for over 40 years and has had a golf tournament in Nashville every year for the last 40 years or so. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, they're having the golf tournament here in St. Louis to commemorate Ted Rhodes' involvement in the local golf community.
Absolutely. Well, how powerful is that? Now, what kind of impact did he have?
He had a tremendous impact not only as a professional golfer, because he was very, very good, but he also had a big impact on the PGA Tour because he was the one who sued the tour to allow everybody to be able to play. And he won, therefore breaking the color barrier in the PGA Tour. Absolutely, and opening doors and creating opportunities. He most certainly should be honored. Right. So what brings you to the project?
Chuck Jackson here, and Steve Bias, who's a broadcaster of note in this market, called me after getting a call from Peggy Rhodes White and Jennifer Pasley out of Atlanta. And Steve doesn't play golf. He knows I do, and so he enlisted my support. And actually he called me and said, "Chuck, I'd like you to head this up." I said, "When is it?" He said, "In about a year." I said, "Fine." And little did I know how much work this was going to take. But knowing that, I'm a pretty I delegate pretty well, and so I enlisted a great tournament committee, and I enlisted a good friend of mine, Andy Spann, to co-chair it. And it's made my life a lot easier,
for sure,
so to speak.
For sure. Well, with this being the first go-round here in our region, what is your hope that this tournament will accomplish for us?
Our first goal would be to attract 25 foursomes so that we can at least break even with our investment. That's one of the goals. But also, I guess the overall goal is to further the legacy of Ted Rhodes, who was indeed a giant in the game of golf. And to Andy's earlier point, he did win that lawsuit against the PGA, but the PGA was very shrewd, in fact, and they changed the dynamic to having to be invited, as a matter of fact. Well, we're not going to discriminate, against African Americans or other minorities, but you will need an invitation to play the events. And, of course, Ted is still waiting on that invitation, 6 feet under the ground. But that's it. We want to get the name out there. We also want to attract junior golfers because, indeed, that is a big part of this whole push to get younger people involved in what we consider a very tremendous game. And so there'll be a great opportunity for junior golfers to come out on August the 8th and celebrate his legacy. Andy?
While we're having the tournament, we will also be having a junior golf tournament, which is really intended to attract younger minority golfers into the field of golf. And the PGA of America, which is the organization that is the governing body for club professionals, is sponsoring that tournament. And also, it's also going to have a clinic, and it's going to have a demonstration by North America's #1 trick shot artist, Todd Kierstead. And the hope that we have for this tournament is that it's going to raise funds to allow people like Christian Heavens, who's with us today, to further their career. Christian is an aspiring, very, very talented young golfer from the Fairview Heights area who has the opportunity to qualify for the web.com tour, which would lead him, therefore, into the PGA Tour eventually. And it's part of the foundation's goal to raise funds for him and others to be able to make it in professional golf.
Mm-hmm. Well, then let's talk about this legacy and the rising star that we're recognizing. Hello, Christian.
How's it going?
Fantastic. How's it going?
Right.
I should be asking you, sir. Let's talk about how it's going. So how old are you, young man?
I'm 27.
You are 27 years old and on your way to the Professional Golf Association's coveted game of golf, huh?
Yeah. I've been playing golf all my life since I was about 2, and I've been professional for about 5 years. And
they had clubs
well
small enough for a 2-year-old?
No, not at that time. Actually, at that age. Yeah, my interest started.
Okay.
My interest started, and there's a video of me at home. I was so small. I was trying to swing my granddad's comb as a golf club. I was always just running around on diapers at Grand Maria, which is right across the river in East St. Louis. But just always been around the game of golf. Mm-hmm. So, I've been professional for about 5 years, and it's tough. It's very financially taxing, and the help, being able to receive this award and getting this help is very, very much needed and a blessing. Mm-hmm. And this is good. I mean, I love the whole concept and, being involved with the Ted Rhodes Foundation. The whole purpose, I think, is good. Just introducing kids to the game of golf and also introducing kids to Teddy Rhodes. One thing that helped me out 5 years ago was I started studying art history in the game of golf. Okay. And Ted Rhodes' history, he is a big footprint in our history, and he's really made an impact. And I was first introduced to Peggy after I won a Advocates Golf Tour event in Tampa in March, and she was congratulating me, and I saw who she was and who she was related to, who she was the daughter of, and I thanked her for congratulating me, and I told her, I really admire your dad, and he's really helped me get to where I am. Most kids only know about black golfers and know Tiger Woods, mm-hmm. and that's the only thing. But there are so many people that can play. They just weren't allowed to play on the PGA Tour. But it's not that they didn't have the talent. So it's good for young minorities to see that there's so many other minorities in the game that have the abilities that did have the abilities, and it's good that this tournament is going to bring awareness to that on a bigger picture than just me receiving this award.
Absolutely. Well, you're kind of a part of that influence, but at least now the access barrier of financial support is being addressed by this tournament, which emphasizes why it is so very important that we support and connect to this effort. Now, what were some of your influences coming up? You mentioned your grandfather and that you had been around golf. What really opened your eyes to the game? Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't...
Or should I say art?
Right.
I've got lovers of golf in here.
It's definitely, It's, I came before the Tiger Woods era, so I wasn't introduced to the game by Tiger. So it was my grandfather and his guys, the guys that grew up being caddies, like Ted Rhodes, like the Charlie Sifford. So I grew up, around that generation of golfers, and they really got me passionate about the game of golf. So those were my role models. I just loved golf before, the Tiger phenomenon, which Tiger's great for the game of golf, but he didn't get me into the game of golf. Mm-hmm. This group that we're talking about, like the Ted Rhodes and the older generations that kind of paved the way for us, that's really what got me really passionate and brought me into the game of golf.
Why do you love it?
It's just a different game. It creates a lot of opportunities. I played basketball. I was pretty good at basketball, but golf has taken me around the world. I've been to some of the most beautiful places, to Morocco, to Pebble Beach. A lot of opportunities in the relationships that you build. You're playing basketball, you're always competing against somebody, and you don't even know your competitors' names. But in golf, you talk to your competitors, you build relationships, and you grow that way. So it's just a different game than any other sport I ever played. And
certainly,
me being the only child too, that's one thing I can do by myself. Just go out on the golf course and keep myself entertained.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how something that could provide so much for any young person, especially a young man, or especially someone who may not have access to opportunities, for it to be so financially prohibitive seems like a shame. So I'm really glad that this is something that can make a difference and change that officially.
Right. The finances is definitely tough, but for this event to get juniors out there, it's not an excuse, because every foursome that we get pays for a junior golfer to play in the tournament, right?
All right.
That is correct.
Well, let's go into more details about the actual tournament, guys.
Well, one thing I need to bring up, too, I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that one of the legends of golf will actually be there on hand at the tournament, and that would be Lee Elder, who was Teddy was one of his mentors in the game of golf. And so Lee will be on hand, and people can, meet him. And he's got a great story to tell, because Ted was the first African-American to play in the Masters.
Lee Elder
was the first African-American to compete in the Masters.
That's right.
1975. Nice. That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So with you two, why don't you help us also share your passion for golf?
Well, golf to me is not a career, because I've never possessed the talent to get anywhere remotely close to where Christian's talent level is in the game. I certainly have always had a dream of being a professional golfer, but that's about as far as it goes. But no, I started playing golf. My father taught me the game when I was 10 years old, and then I just kept playing and found friends who liked to play, and then most of my friends are golf buddies. So, and it's just a social sport for me, and gives me a chance to compete and just try and get better and improve.
Mm-hmm. What's it like when you see young men like Christian and excel in the game? What's it like for you?
It's very, very inspiring to see someone who, or really anyone, try and get to the level that he's trying to get to. It's like a huge funnel. There are millions of people who play golf. There are literally hundreds of people who can play golf at the level that Christian can. And it's probably the hardest sport on earth to learn, because it requires so much instruction, so much time, so much practice. No great golfer started off that way. They had to learn the craft. And in order to get there, you have to be extremely dedicated, not just talented, but disciplined and dedicated, and you have to really love the game. So I admire that greatly.
That's great. That's great. What about you, John?
Well, my story is a bit different than Andy's. I didn't grow up in the game of golf, but I took it up in the middle 80s, and just from day one had a passion for it. The other thing I like about golf is the beautiful scenery out there, the serene aspect of, being one with nature. I love cigars, and I love a cocktail now and then, and I love to spin the yarn, so to speak. So it's a great opportunity to do that, fellowship with with some good people, and it's a gentleman's sport too. You should play by the rules. And, I think that most people do, even though I have played with a cheater or two in my day. But overall, it's a gentleman's sport, and I just love that, and the wardrobe, all the stuff that goes with it.
Look at that. So it just suits you.
Absolutely.
And so for you to see Christian come a long way and the potential that exists with him, what also does that communicate for you?
Well, it communicates change, if nothing else. Christian alluded to the fact that he was not inspired by Tiger, because he was already deep into the game. But I think, with Tiger's coming on to the golf scene, it created a whole nother demographic. They became inspired to play the game. I saw cats who used to, back in the day when I was telling them I was playing golf, looked at, like, well, man, that's a sissy sport, to use a politically incorrect term. And now all these suckers, waltzing around with their golf bag and, hey, man, you want to get a yeah, okay.
They want to get a game, and now everybody wants to play.
So to see somebody like Christian, I want to see many, 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 many Christians out there. And in point of fact, I think since Tiger, there's only been one other African-American with a PGA card. And so, seeing people like Christian makes it good for me.
I love it. So then that's all the more reason for us to come out. Let's send out the invitation for our listeners to get involved, take part, and support.
Well, the best way to become involved, there are two ways to become involved. One is to sponsor, And to sponsor a foursome for $1,000 also gets you a lot of other things. For example, there's a viewing the day before of the film Uneven Fairways, which is the Golf Channel's documentary of African American professional golfers, and that will be a great opportunity to kind of learn what the journey was like for these folks growing into the game in the older times and right up to now, really. Also, golf legend Lee Elder, who we mentioned earlier, the first African American to compete in the Masters, will be there. So it'll be an opportunity to meet Mr. Elder. And in order to be a sponsor, all you really need to do is go to www.tedrhodes.org and sign up. And we still have a few spots for foursomes, so please sign up there.
For more information, you can dial 404-232-9295. Again, 404-232-9295. Or you can go to www.tedrhodes.org for additional information. I can't say enough about how excited we are to have Lee Elder here in this tournament here and to, again, try and proliferate the game of golf in the St. Louis region. It's very important to us. We're passionate about it, and we look forward to any and all participation.
And also, if I could please add that we have this Junior Golf Festival that'll be occurring simultaneously. It doesn't cost a dime.
Right.
Come out if you're 10 years old or 11 or 12 or 13 or 14 and show up at Forest Park. You'll need to go to the Ted Rhodes Foundation website and sign up. But there's a sign up there, and so we need to know how many people are coming. But even if you're a beginner, even if you've never picked up a golf club, this will be your opportunity to have PGA of America professionals show you how to do it, and it will make sure it's a lot of fun.
Sounds wonderful. Christian, what is your encouragement for the young golfers and those that are coming after?
Yeah, it was really good to see. Andy said that the word that kind of comes to mind when he sees me playing is inspiration. That's really what I want to do. If you look at my social media, I travel to schools. My website is christianheavens.com, or you can go to Instagram, which is I_am7heavens, HEAVENS. And you'll see that I go to schools. I was just at Riverview Gardens talking to some kids there. Whenever I'm at tournaments, I talk to a group of kids there. I go to churches and talk to kids. And I just want to inspire them and let them know that pretty much you can do anything. Chase your passion. You know, golf's my passion, and I want to encourage them to chase theirs. I would like them to also play golf no matter what their passion is, because it's definitely going to help you out in anything in life. You're going to have core values in golf and life that kind of equate to each other and will help you benefit you in both aspects of life. So, you know, it's really good to have this tournament here. You know, I grew up here, lived in St. Louis for the first 4 or 5 years of my life, then on the other side of the river the rest of my life. And it's tough, you know, I don't get to come home a lot and play in tournaments or have events like this. So to have something like this at home, you know, I appreciate a lot of support from everybody in the area. And you know, it's just something that's really true and really dear and close to my heart to do something for the kids as well.
Most certainly. Very excited and look forward to hearing more as you keep these ongoing efforts going and outreach in our community. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us today.
Well, thank you very much for the
Thank you
for the time.
Use of your airwaves.
For sure.
All right, that's it for this week. If you have questions or comments or have something you'd like to include in the community calendar, you can leave a message on our message box at 314-333-8369, 314-333-8369. And for more information about our show or any of our guests, you can visit us online and listen to the podcast at Spreaker.com. That's SPREAKER.com. And search Community Connection with Jade Harrell. You all be blessed, do blessed, and take care.